welcome to the Cricket Show. Life as an Australian captain certainly has its highs and lows, as I can definitely vouch for. Another guy who knows what it's all about is Kim Hughes. Mary Gearan has the story.
Yeah, there are people that, you know, would rather see me dead and buried than something else, but that's their problem, and I've tried to push on and move on. Otherwise, you become very bitter.
Enjoying Perth's beaches with his 3 sons, Kim Hughes is the image of contentment and fulfilment. But that defies his own special legacy as the most maligned player in Australia's cricket history.
Well, run in, look as if you're a bit excited, you dorks.
Despite more than 4,000 flamboyant runs in 70 tests, he's best known for the controversies in his career and one emotional moment that will be annoyingly replayed until he dies, and here it is again.
It's in the interest of the team, Australian cricket.
Hughes broke down during the announcement, and Australian team manager Mr Bob Merriman was forced to finish the statement.
Kim Hughes copped more flack for crying than resigning his captaincy in 1984.
This thing, a macho thing of being big boys don't cry, I think is a lot of bull. It's a facade, and you know, I think people miss out. Now that doesn't mean you need to have a handkerchief every 30 seconds, but I'm a very passionate and emotional person. Even when I watch Blink and Dumbo with my little daughter or something, I've got the get the tissues from her. She's looking at me dead. I said, oh, well, I'm a bit caught up in the story.
You're a Dumbo fan.
Yeah. That's it. Up on your toes. Boys,
After years of not always self-imposed exile, Hughes is now creeping back into cricket's establishment. Western Warriors coach Wayne Clark faced some opposition when he invited Hughes back to help coach players like Ryan Campbell.
I've just got the utmost respect for Kim Hughes. He was a fantastic player and he's a very good friend. And I'm just very pleased that he's decided to come back and be involved, you know, and there were political things that maybe prevented that in other years, but you know, he's a big part of it down here and he's very, very keen to be involved, and we're very pleased to have him involved.
Does he give you confidence?
Oh, definitely. You know, that's his big thing. It's all about, I may make 10, but he'll come in and say, well, if it happens that way, that was the best 10 I've ever seen, and that's the way he is. He's a bubbly sort of personality, and, you know, it's just infectious.
Cambo and his generation would barely be able to remember why Hughes was so vilified. Hughes was just 24 when World Series cricket split the team, and he was thrust into the Australian captaincy. He never quite shook the image of being aligned with the establishment, and that caused tensions. But his unpopularity turned to outright rejection in 1986, when he led divisive rebel tours to apartheid-bound South Africa. He's paid for his past ever since. Have you encountered resistance towards you getting back and being involved with the establishment?
Well, you know, to be truthful, there are still some people that, when they think of Kim Hughes, don't think of a flashing bat or someone that's, you know, in the right frame of mind. But that's their problem, not mine. Greg Blewett normally would have belted that one over mid-wicket.
East Coasters may be surprised to learn Hughes has become part of the journalistic profession that witnessed his downfall.
The players have been trying to get a decent say in this whole thing for 25 years.
Hughes now comments on current cricket scandals in his weekly Perth radio show and tells batsmen how it should be done, commentating at the Wacker. 10, 15 years ago, would you have thought that you'd get involved with the media?
I must say the media was never my most popular thing, and I stayed out of it for a while, and I stayed out of it deliberately because I found that a lot of the former players ended up being quite negative about the players, and the players that were playing really resented that. Good morning, Design Ceilings, Kim Hughes speaking.
The world is just a tattered map behind his desk these days, as Hughes runs a small building supplies business, happy to live in a frayed T-shirt and finally his own boss.
I've seen lots of blokes run big businesses, and after their third heart attack they decide to get their priorities right.
Not for you?
No. Mate, I could here get grubby, dirty as buggery and lifting things and that sort of thing. People say, well, what are you doing that for? And I say, well, mate, I can please myself, but I like working with the blokes in the industry, and we run a good business. It's good.
Now he watches over the aspirations of his children, 14-year-old son Bradley, the Australian grommet bodyboard champion, 16-year-old twins Sean and Simon, and 10-year-old daughter Claire. He believes in standing close by his kids.
Because my dad never watched. He never watched me do anything. But that was Dad. So I always said to myself, well, I'd like to be involved. And there's a, I pace up and down the beach and tell them to go, and that sort of thing. But I try and be there, but not be too close. Like they said, oh, there's his old man again.
Does he talk much about the old days?
Yeah, he talks a bit. He recently had a thing over in Zimbabwe and he played pretty well there, so I think that brought back a few memories, and he always talks about it sometimes.
The way you say that makes me think that he's, been boring about it, has he?
No, he's not really boring. He does have his times when he can be a bit more exciting.
If the old man can do anything for the kids, he can teach them about facing what others call failure, with defiant optimism that is now second nature.
My coach, I'm a product of his system, was very, very positive. And even when I did make a duck, he said it was the best made duck of all time, and there was only you and Bradman, and the rest can't bat. So I never failed.
Today we confront the superstar of Australian cricket, the man who looks like he poured himself into his cricket outfit but forgot to say when. The man with 117 different types of delivery. But how will he go against the man with 118 different types of verbal googly?
You wouldn't believe it. He's done in between his legs.
Now, Warnie, 117 different types of delivery. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, I think I've just gone 120 now, actually, you mentioned it. I think I've got a couple extra mystery balls.
Just while I was doing the intro.
Yeah, just thought of three more.
120. Now, I've worked out three, right?
Yeah.
There's the one that goes left, there's the one that goes right, and there's the one that goes straight ahead.
You've got me. That's it. That's all I've got. I've got no other ones.
And he's got him again with it.
Now, mate, there seems to be a new attitude in cricket that now that you've bought a Ferrari, you can just shut up.
I've copped a fair bit over that, Trev. Chicks like the car, isn't that what Batman says or something like that? But I'm not Batman, I'm only joking.
The real question that we really want to know, what's the quickest you've done in it?
I would stick to the speed limit, Trevor.
Well, look, I know you're a role model for young Australians, but you can tell us, mate.
A little bit over the speed limit.
A little bit
200
over?
or something.
200?
Yeah, and panic.
Now, on the fatherhood thing, how are you finding it?
I'm pretty ordinary, actually, Trevor.
Exactly, because now there was a good PR stunt, flying back from London, Father of the Year.
I haven't changed nappies, I haven't really fed Brooke once, so I'm a pretty ordinary father, actually. But I play with her a little bit, throw up and down and make her be sick all over you. It's not too bad, it's good fun.
Now, what about, did you have the birth videoed?
No.
Didn't you?
I didn't know, no.
A lot of people do these days, you know.
I
figure it's strange, you know. What are you doing? You're sitting at home on a Saturday night going, geez, nothing on telly. Shall we watch the birth again? That'd be good fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be good. From the waist up or waist down? Wouldn't be too good, would it?
Actually, my mother had the birth video when I was born, and every time I misbehaved, I had to watch the whole thing again. And sometimes when I was really bad, she played it in reverse, make me disappear. Now, I've got to say, on behalf of the Australian public, disappointed it wasn't a boy. There's nothing against Brooke herself, but you know, we were hoping it was going to be son of Warnie.
Hopefully there's a boy down the track
Sal,
somewhere.
That is, Sal.
Well,
son of
something like that. Not bad, not bad. I'll, hopefully we'll have a bit of practice and maybe have another one along the way somewhere, Trev.
Now, mate, waving the stump around in public.
Jeez, I'm glad you're asking these questions, Trev. They're
mate,
pretty
you've
good.
copped some flack. I mean, the thing is that we all sat on the couch and watched you rip through the English lineup, and we're all spraying beer on each other and dancing in the streets. But if you go and do it, that's a bad thing, apparently.
I just sort of, we won in a session a bit, we knocked them over and won the Ashes, and to an Australian like us, or like myself, it means a lot to beat the English in an Ashes series. And I think I just probably went over the top a little bit, but it was just all excitement and I was just pumped up and probably went a bit too far, but I enjoyed myself.
Mate, if it had been me, I would have turned around and dropped my dax. Forget that. Take that, Paul. Now, mate, you're vice-captain of the Australian side now, And quite frankly, Steve Waugh, he's just about had his day as captain. He's been in there long enough, hasn't he? You know, I mean, sure, he deserves his place in the side. I mean, there's no doubt he deserves his place in the side. But, you know, what are you going to do when you get in there as the #1 man in Australian cricket? What are your plans, mate?
I don't know what that's going to happen. I think Mark Taylor's doing a good job in the test matches, and
He is.
I think. No, he is. Stephen's doing a good job in the one day.
Steve Waugh's a good bloke too. But when you get there, because one day you will get there.
It's something I would like to do, but we'll have to wait and see.
Now the batting. Look, I hope I don't overstep the mark here, but do you mind if I give you a bit of advice for your batting?
What do you think? What do you think, Trev?
I think, mate, I think the most important thing you got to do is find a strap for that sun hat.
How bad was that hat? It kept falling off. I kept thinking, oh, geez, I should pick it up. No, hang on, I can't. I'll get run out.
That's 3 and over. Taking the hat off to him.
Oh, what an absolute nightmare.
That's got to be breaking your concentration when you've got to go back and fetch your hat.
Yeah, well, I reckon that's why I got out.
Yeah! Got him! Knocked him over! That's not very good batting.
Well, I was embarrassed, bloody nightmare. Oh,
well, yeah, New Zealand commentator took the opportunity to...
Ian Smith.
Ian Smith.
Smitty.
It was a bad cricket shot.
Yeah, that's all right. Well done. You get a job, Trev.
Apparently, Shane, people are getting obsessed by your weight. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can't see my toes under the shower, so that's generally a bit of a problem. I go, my scales go up and down. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad.
Oh, mate, tell me about it. Look, hey, I undo my belt, there's a flabberlanche.
I suppose when you're playing for Australia, we are... I suppose if you asked me to run 10 Ks around the block, I probably couldn't do it, but if you asked me to bowl 30 overs, I can.
That's well bowled, Shane Warne. What a wicket that is. He's really teed him up, and he has struck just before lunch.
Just as important as playing a shot is leaving one alone, and this includes getting out of the way of a delivery that could hit you. But simply ducking and moving isn't the best way to go about it. If you fail to keep your eye on the ball, then you run the risk of being hit, or even getting out if the ball does something that you don't expect. There are a number of ways of doing this. You could sway out of the way towards leg, keeping your eye on the ball and keeping your hands and bat down. Or else you could duck under it. Just don't be tempted to leave your bat in the air, as it becomes a target for the bowler to hit and present a catch. The most important thing is to keep your eye on the ball right out of the bowler's hand, allowing the batsman to make an early judgment as to whether he's going to play the ball or let it go.
It seems there's trouble at the Good Hope Club. There's damage to the wicket. Is it sabotage? Some evil intruder from the African bush? No, it's just Impala, grazing on Dennis Streak's field of dreams.
There's so many kudu and impala coming in onto this wicket when it's a little bit wet when they're preparing it.
So we get
so he's gonna have to put a bit of cloud.
Yeah. Antelope in the outfield. It's one of the natural hazards of carving a cricket field from the bush. Undaunted by war, drought and impala, Dennis Streak has made one of cricket's most unique venues, the Good Hope Club, which in turn has produced one of the game's best fast bowlers.
I think any father to have a son who can play cricket is great. To have somebody who's achieved what he's done, yes, I'm very proud, as you know, I think the people in the community and in Zimbabwe in general are.
4 generations of Streaks have farmed this earth deep in Zimbabwe's Matabeleland region. While many walked off their land during Zimbabwe's War of Independence in the 1970s, the Streaks stayed on. When the social club closed down for lack of members, Dennis offered land and rallied the other farmers. Life without sport would be unthinkable. At 23 years of age, Heath Streak is now ranked number 8 in the Coopers and Lybrand World Rankings, from just 15 test appearances. With nearly 70 wickets, he's easily Zimbabwe's best bowler, spearheading the team to its first test win over Pakistan 2 years ago. In the recent drawn test series against England at home, Streak again proved his class, with genuine pace and late outswing. As usual, long spells at the crease for Streak were a vital ingredient of Zimbabwe's attack. In the last 3 years, he's bowled a lot of overs in losing teams.
I do have a lot of pressure. Obviously, sometimes I bowl a bit longer than I should be bowling. They look to bring me back a lot earlier. If they need a quick wicket, they're trying to push me. So maybe, yes, sometimes I do bowl a bit more, but I enjoy it, and I think I've just got to be responsible and know when it's time to stop.
Streak also aspires to be a genuine all-rounder in the Wasim Akram mould. He's already hit a Test 50 and 2 first-class hundreds, and these sessions on the family tennis court are a vital ingredient of training. Heath Streak is a product of growing up on the farm. As a child, he learnt to track wild game with his lifelong friend Danny. He speaks the local Ndebele language fluently, and he knows the ways of the bush much like an African. Certainly it will take people like Streak with an understanding of Africans to bring the black test players that Zimbabwe so desperately needs for its development. Integrated cricket is in some small way helping to overcome an unfortunate history of mistrust in this former British colony.
People in Zimbabwe now are very united now, and I think it's more a case of getting them, people used to it. There's a lot of culture in cricket.
When Heath Streak finishes with cricket, he'll return to the bush from where he came. 4,000 acres has been set aside for wild game. Hunters and photographers can, from luxury chalets, indulge their individual passions. However, the game for sport shooting is strictly confined to old males, and a range of plains game is flourishing on the property.
I think the whole wildlife industry in this country has been saved by the fact that people have gone commercial on it and have been able to make some money out of it. And it's, a lot of species which were looking like they might become extinct or certainly reduced in numbers are now safe. So I think there's a very good future in the wildlife industry here in Zimbabwe.
Keith, I believe this chalet has a particular significance for you because you got your first trophy there.
Yeah, this was a kudu I shot when I was 10 years old. It's a trophy and it's about 56 inch, which most American clientele would be very happy to see.
Wherever cricket may take Heath Streak, his heart will always remain here in the bush with the Good Hope Club and his memories. Offers have come to play in England, South Africa and Australia, but who would give up all this? And so for the moment, Streak will divide his time between the game of cricket and the big game of home.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy being out in the bush. I've grown up in the bush and I miss it. I think I get to I'm in the cities during the cricket seasons and traveling, and it's nice to get out, but I like to come back and settle in and sort of get outdoors.
Watch the spin of the ball as it leaves the bowler's hand, and you'll begin to get an idea how Clary is able to make the batsman look foolish. There it goes. Off the wicket, eh? No, right on it.
Well, it's the start of another cricket season and we're shopping for a bat here at Kingsgrove Sports Centre in Sydney. Harry, what are we looking at first?
Michael, we've got the new Duncan Fernley back in Australia with the vengeance. After a bit of a lull, new cosmetics, the lot.
Plenty of stickers there, and players such as Tom Moody, Graham Hick of England use them.
And I understand Stuart McGill from New South Wales has signed with the company.
It's great to see them back in the market. Well, Harry, this bat certainly does bring back a lot of memories for myself. The old Simon Super Tusker, I used it as a kid. All of a sudden it left the market, but it's now back.
Yes, Michael, the famous Simon's bat, the one-horned rhino, back again in the market and available in most cricket shops now.
And the biggest feature was always the raised back, which made it stand out from all the other bats. And it was used by the likes of Alan Border, Mark Taylor, the War brothers.
That's correct. A bit taken off the bottom, some off the top, giving it a nice sweet spot in the middle.
Well, there we go. Another bat in the range. Very confusing decision in picking one out of all these, but I hope this makes it a little easier.
Traditionally, Australian wicketkeepers have made the task of wicketkeeping look very easy by the amount of movement they make and the flow and the rhythm that they gain in keeping. Our teammates don't appreciate just exactly what goes into the job, so we can't expect the public or the media to.
That was brilliant, bad leg and all.
The first feature of wicketkeeping is the crouch, and we crouch basically so that we get a good perspective of the ball as it bounces so that we can move in line with it. Basic techniques of the crouch: feet shoulder width apart, weight distributed on the balls of the feet evenly, and the rest is up to you. Make sure you're nice and comfortable and the gloves are on the ground in an open fashion. That allows you to move with the ball as it's bouncing in a powerful sideways direction.
That's all we have time for on today's cricket show. Tomorrow, we take a walk down memory lane with the great Alan Davidson. So don't miss that. See you then.
Smoking it.